Okay, thank you for watching here on YouTube live. If you happen to be logging in live, which is Saturday, May the 31st, 2025. Oh my gosh. Anywho, otherwise, if you're just logging on at a later time and date, thank you for watching, whether you're logging on here or a different platform. I do invite you to check out the homepage here, as well as the links that I have that will take you directly to my TikTok. It'll take you to the other platforms that I actually operate. Highly recommending people follow the links. This is one of the ways you can ensure you're not landing on one of my copycatters platforms or pages, okay? And so, yeah, yada, 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 yada. Over 2,000 videos, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so what we're going to talk about is displaced expressions of anger. Okay, so I am a survivor of narcissistic abuse, moving into thriving in various different forms. Am a targeted individual. Okay, and so let's just say I've been on a journey for many years of study, dealing with the mental health arena, my own personal spiritual journey, you name it, dealing with being plagued with toxic relationships. Okay. So, culture, something that I'm learning about culture, especially I can speak on African American culture, I can even possibly speak on the American culture. You know, everything that doesn't fit into this nice little Stepford wifey kind of bubble and program gets a negative connotation. Okay, period, point blank. So it is discouraged. In other words, it is suppressed and oppressed. Okay, if you can't do this in a PowerPoint, bullet point matter, then you're not, you're you're unhinged, right? So this is what happens. This is why I want to talk about it. And this could happen to it happens, narcissists live this way, which is essentially their projections are their displaced anger. Okay. On the narcissistic side or the antagonistic side, they live their lives this way. This is why often they're light, or at least they appear to feel that way. They don't really. And this is because they've lived their lives displacing their anger on targets, right? Now they suppress it, and a part of why they do it is because they have to put on a show to play the song and dance of the world. Okay, so since they have to do this all day, every day in arenas, kissing ass, making nice, pretending to like shit when they don't, allowing people in the name of money, in the name of survival, in the name of clout chasing, in the name of getting some networks, then they're targeted individuals. This will usually be done behind the scene, whoever they are. They're the ones that get the displaced anger hurled onto them because that person is not processing the fact that they are deeply angry about a lot of things and they're not able to identify it and work through it. And so there's the vomit. Okay. That's on the antagonistic side. Now, on the side of the empath, on the side of, those that are usually the targeted individuals, we too deal with it. What makes the empath different is it might not be as volatile or extreme. And or you come to yourself because you have been conditioned to be self-reflective through the abuse you've gone through. So you already have a natural where you will go back and go, oh my gosh, I was being like, so so you'll displace your anger because maybe something that feels out of your control, especially as targeted individuals, right? You may be doing all of the things that you can do now to get the ball rolling, but you know that you have all of these energies that's too cowardly. You kind of want to call everybody out. You kind of want to stand in the middle of the freeway, bitch, the middle of the street, be like, what are you at? That's the vibe. It's like, you're tired of these cowardly motherfuckers, huh? That can only do shit because it's a psychological game, right? Now, you could be, especially the accumulation of abuse that you've endured, when you start to realize the violations that's been done to you and your children, when you start to get the proofs, because over time some of this stuff started to trickle to you. So when you start to get some of this, the rage, okay, because some of this stuff is so sick, these people should be studied. I'm going to stand on that. I would actually stand and officially make that statement in a court of law, that all of these various people need to be cut open and studied for their organized criminality on innocent life for their own gain. Okay, I sure would. Yes, the fuck. I'll be like, you all you MFers, bitch, y'all finna go ahead and put me in contempt of court, bitch, because all no, for real, let me come back. See, you see what I'm saying? Listen. So, and it's normal, but the good thing about the empath or those that are on that side is, see, unlike the narc, you don't have a problem. You don't have a problem once you come to yourself and acknowledging that and even looking at it, because you don't feel like it's the end of the world. The narcissist, they're, because of what's wrong with them or whatever, for them, it's the end of the world, and it makes them feel, I don't know how to explain it. This is one of the reasons they can't be accountable, or they can't acknowledge something, okay? So targeted individuals, you may, because you're annoyed, you're constantly dealing with things, you're dealing with the weight of the betrayals on your life, you're dealing with the annoyance of other things. So when the slightest thing, it could be your kid, your cat, your dog, you may be a little extra grumpy and a little extra controlling than you would normally be. And this is because you'll come to realize it's because you feel like there's so much that's out of control. There's so much that is trying your patience. There's so much that you have to daily exercise an extreme emotional intelligence. You have to exercise extreme emotional balance, more so than the average Joe, because the average Joe is not experiencing the things that you are experiencing on an everyday basis. Okay? So you have had to live your life managing your children's emotions, feeling bad for the fact that they have been subject to some sick, sadistic, lunatic-y shit. Okay? So trying to soothe them, and then, if you have children, because of that, and then the way of the world, so trying to keep your composure in situations. And so you may find that you will have a displaced anger moment of irritation where you want to control something. You want to control your dog and your cat, you know what I'm saying, a little more than normal, or you're just a little bit harsher than you would be. And then when you come to yourself, that's where the empath, this is the marker, because I promise you they do, for whatever reason, if it's their higher self, their spiritual guidance, whatever you want to put it under, I promise you they do. Yes, they do. And it'll come to them, and it's like, and they'll sit there and do what narcs can't do, self-reflect. They'll sit there and do that because they know, though it may make them feel uncomfortable and there's not their proudest moment, okay? It makes them feel uncomfortable. It's not their proudest moment. But they also know it doesn't define them entirely, and that it's okay. The issue is, the real problem comes in when you refuse to be self-reflective and you continue that way and you don't make any adaptation. That is where the real problem is, not in the fact that you had days where you were irritable and you were a little more controlling and you were a little more sharp and you were a little more disciplinary than normal. Making the adjustment and even talking to the person or people, whether it's your children, your dog, and your cat, whatever it is. Like, see, that's where the empath shows up differently in the world. And this is a vibration that is held and it is recognized, even if people can't see it. Because they'll go, okay, oh shit, damn bitch. Okay, now now you gotta go apologize. And say, I was, this is not your fault, cat. This is not your fault, dog. You're just operating in your natural nature. It is your nature to be this way. And my bandwidth is short, and this is not your fault. Displaced anger could also come out in the forms of over discipline, and this is often, depending on what our culture is, discipline is often used for that displaced anger. Yep. And you know what? You can do a test on yourself. This is how the empath has lived, but you can always test yourself for shits and giggles, for fun, right? When you are in a good mood, right? When you're your most grounded or your balanced self, right? When that's kind of the vein that you're in, and watch how you approach situations in those moments, whether it is your teenager, whatever's annoying you doing something. Look at your approach to it. Look at your vibe. Look at your tone. Look at your responses. That's going to tell you something. Now, flip it. When you are just fed up, when you feel like you're spent, because see, this is normal. When you feel like you have extended every ounce of patience that you have left. When you feel like, I'm not going to deal with one more bullshit. I'm not going to put up with another sassy nothing. I'm not going to deal with one more shenanigans. The next motherfucker acting out is going to really get the wrath of me. That's normal. Unfortunately, with antagonistic personality types, toxic energies, they do go to extremes. Okay? They do go to extremes and they do this repetitively. And they start to get a long-term pattern in that way, which is essentially the cycles of abuse. The reason why you all are looking at this picture, it says the final girl, and she's looking all grumpy. You all could have survived, could be the last one. You could have survived some kind of extreme trauma. So this is definitely somebody that may have PTSD or CPTSD. So there you will have moments of displaced anger. Why did I want to have this discussion? Because I feel like awareness on all sides helps a little bit. Because see, now it's something that you're going to think about. Now you're going to be watching yourself when, like, okay, I'm irritable. I'm annoyed. I've been dealing with so much, and I'm calling it discipline. I'm calling it structure. I'm putting it under, like, I don't want them to get hurt or I want them to learn. But am I putting too much on it because I'm irritated and I feel like everything else is out of control? So I'm trying to be over controlling in this respect because it's something that I can immediately control. So it makes me feel like I have a sense of empowerment. It's nothing that's inherently wrong with that. It's the fact that people live like that and they take it to very abusive places for a very long time and then pretend like that's not the case due to that lack of self-awareness. And since we live in a culture and a society where we have practiced squelching, see, this is also leaning into the fact that if you don't, you will erupt like a volcano. Maybe looking into ways to be able to acknowledge and feel, not just say, feel through and actually express these things on a regular basis, because it's just energy. There's a myth and a misconception, in my opinion, by way of squelching and silence and anger, that is how it's being dealt with. But that's not what the body recognizes. Not the body. It's still there. To the world, we put on the niceties, right? Because we want to save face. We want to look spiritual. We want to look godly. We want to look like we're all together. We want to look like, whatever the case may be. So we squelch that for majority of our waking hours. And unfortunately, a lot of us, we end up taking it out on those who mean the most to us, those that are the closest to us, those that are behind the doors with us, because we're not trying to impress them. This is why often it's the children and the people behind the scene that get it the worst most of the time. And, because it's insidious, on a narcissistic side, because it's like nobody knows that except for the two motherfuckers in the room. You see that? And since there is this high performance for the world for the majority of the time, then people will be more inclined to believe the presentations in which they have received. If we can do away with the sacred cows and this fake healthy shit, the lack of proper feeling and expressing is why people are killing people today. It's why people are killing. Yeah. It's why people are snapping today. It's why people have reduced themselves in order to survive. Because I can guarantee you, what's the matter, Osiris? 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 What's the matter? Osiris? Where you at? Oh, okay. So I'm advocating for researching and just looking into ways as the survivors to continue to express, because a part of us has been managing everyone else's emotions and will erupt too, right? So we need to find our ways of being able to validate without rumination and without staying there too long, but feeling through it, validating the experience so that the energy doesn't stay stagnant, so that it doesn't build up to an accumulation and then you're just a walking volcano because of you're on edge. You have this happening and that happening and this happening and that happening. Send it to them. They on that shit and whoop their ass with it. And knock them across the head. Abracadabra, you gonna fuck your life up, bitch. Abracadabra, you finna die next. Abracadabra, your ass is finna to be in jail. Now, That's going to help you through, because as a targeted individual, you deal with a lot. And you're at the same time, you're trying to rebuild yourself from the damage. So give yourself a hug. When you realize you've had displaced anger, sit with it, forgive yourself, acknowledge if you need to talk to somebody about that, if you need to tell the dog, the cat, whoever it is, do that. Okay? And then, find more practices to where you're getting it out so that you can make the proper changes and this type of displacement becomes less and less. Are you going to do it perfectly? No. But at least you are doing it. And over time, it's going to become second nature and more and more and more, which can change the game of everything. This is what's going to help you to be able to go to court and not, you see what I'm saying? Because we know how this system is set up. They ain't trying to hear. What's funny is they be wanting to evoke emotions when they want to in the court, but they're not really trying to hear all that. So us practicing or finding ways to validate these emotions and to feel them and give them some kind of an outlet and expression is going to be a part of what helps us as we do have to seek legal proceedings and go talk with lawyers and go to court. It's going to help you because then you'll be able to come a little bit more balanced because of what you're implementing to deal with this ridiculous, insidious shit. Masses of the world operates with displacement of anger. To anybody, to the elites or anybody that someone is trying to kiss up to or get a benefit from, people have a tendency to be squelched, suppressed. And then to the people they feel like they can't get some kind of benefit from or don't mean anything, most humans in the world, this is usually where it is displaced. It's going to be displaced to those we don't like. It's going to be displaced to those who are different than us. It's going to be displaced to those who trigger our insecurity because we have not went the journey or realized that there's something we need to deal with. About ourselves, who we are, our lives, that's bugging us. The fact that we may feel like life is out of control or that we're at the mercies of people. And then somebody who is independent or somebody who is a loner, that could be a trigger for such a person that feels like they don't have a choice but to bow. Emotions are not bad. I'm taking ownership of my emotions because I'm learning that these things were hijacked. Systems feed off of all of these emotions, including anger, including sadness, including all of it, actually. So I'm taking command. I invite you to do the same. You can declare this. I take full authority and command of my full experience, and where I've given that away for whatever reason, whatever trickery, whatever games, whatever deception, whatever programming, explico it, and I cancel and delete it and destroy and uncreate it. Times a gazillion across all lifetimes, timelines, dimensions, and realities, and every now and moment. Along with the cores and the attachments and the implants and the explants and the magnetic imprints and the overlays and all of the goo, she-cube junk that comes with it. Queso, euro, right? Muter, right? Left, up, down, all around. Calling it forth. My experience, taking full range authority. My emotions are mine, and they're for me to benefit off of. They're mine. Calling it back. You ain't gonna get no more feed. My fear, my anger, my sadness, my grief, my all of it, my frustration, all full range and spectrum. It's mine for me to fully control, embody, and embrace and benefit from. 10845. Thank you. Shit, nigga. Anyway, that's the spiritual side of things. You know what I'm saying? Because myself, I'm incorporating all sorts of things, a holistic approach into this thing, into the rebuilding of myself. Because when they lose physical autonomy over you, when they lose that physical, then it really leans more into all of these other things. They want to benefit off of your torture. They want to benefit off of whatever they can create for you so that they can elicit responses. That's a part of it. So you don't want to be on our team. You don't want to work for us. Well, we're going to imprison you. And we're going to benefit off of your torture and off of your energy. And you're going to pay for it severely, indefinitely, throughout eternity. Anyway, there you have it, okay? Displaced anger. Do your research. When you're calm, do a little, science project on yourself, lovingly so. And then as you're observing other people, you're going to start to really see and recognize that when you see people acting in certain ways, you're going to start to be able to identify it as you have started to identify it within yourself. Oh, they're acting in displaced anger. They angry about they're in a loveless marriage. They're angry about, you know what I'm saying? They don't have courage to be an individual, and people who have the courage to do so is triggering them. They're angry, about, being sellouts and it costing them, and they're getting karma for it, and they regret their decisions. And people who chose to not go that path is triggering for them as they have to see and watch these people. You'll start to realize people's critical eyes and excessiveness is displaced anger. Oh, this is displaced anger. They don't like what I believe, or maybe they secretly do, but they just don't have the courage to. So, yeah. Anyway. Love and light to those of you who came in good energy, and to the rest of you, you're done. I declare all that you are projecting to me. I command it, all of your projections to me and my son and who we are and what we do and what we're about, every last one of you, all over this universe. I command it to go forth in every now moment to you and yours, your home, your life, and your reality. And here's why. This is your investment. You choose. You've chosen to project foul energy towards me. So every ounce of it, abracadabra, hear ye, hear ye. Whatever you hope and wish and think and say and pray with ill intent towards my son and me and who I am and my life and my reality, bounces off of us and sticks to each of you indefinitely, like Gorilla Glue, times a gazillion, all elements and all directions of time and space. Abracadabra, go get the help you need.